Hi, everyone. My name is Chyla Floodman with Team BC eXp Realty. I have Vernell here from Fortune 800. Thank you, Vernell, for coming on today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. And you taking the time and interviewing me. And I'm excited to be here.
Perfect, definitely. Now tell us a little bit about your company.
Yes, for sure. My company is Fortune 800. I started it back in 2019, but I've been involved in the credit industry since 2018. So coming up on 5 years now, being involved in the credit industry. I started when I was 18. I'm 22 years old now. I have one of our most popular, I guess you could say, products is my book, The Credit Reset. I think it's helped at this point 2,000 people nationwide improve their credit scores. But the main thing that we focus on is a full service approach to helping people improve their credit score to reach a certain goal. So whenever we take on new clients, I always ask them questions like, what exactly are you trying to do this for? And it's not credit repair for the sake of credit repair. We want to get people to a certain destination. I've helped people with homes, cars, credit cards, whatever it is that you need. We can create that tailored plan for you. So it's not just credit repair. We do credit education as well. Our clients get access to a credit mastery course and a whole lot of other things. But that's kind of an overview of how the company works and, kind of how we got it, when we got it started.
Yeah, that's a great explanation of your company. Now, where does someone even start when they're looking to fix their credit?
The first place to start when you're looking to fix your credit is you have to understand your credit report is made up of your negative and positive accounts. And your FICO score, it's a number that calculates your likelihood to default on a loan within a 30-day period. So because we have to understand what we're dealing with before we even talk about what we should do. We have to understand what it is that we're dealing with. So the number is based on how likely you are to default on a loan within a 30-day period, anywhere from 300 to 850. With that said, you have to understand, okay, what is your actual score? What is your FICO score? And what does your credit report look like? Because those are two separate things. I'm not sure, well, not many people know, but we have 33 different FICO scores overall. So each FICO score, let's say you went to go get a house, you would, the mortgage lender will pull up your mortgage score, FICO number 9. So what that does is that calculates or factors in how you've dealt with mortgages in the past more heavily than your other types of loans like credit cards, car loans, and stuff like that. So we got to understand, and this is why I make it clear, what is your goal with your credit? Like, what is it that you're looking to get? Because there's a lot of different credit scores, and the more you get into it, especially if you're a beginner, the more confusing it becomes as you get deeper and deeper into how this stuff works. So we want to get a fresh credit report. You want to order your FICO score because we want to ignore the credit scores initially, unless we have a specific goal like getting a house, getting a car. Then we want to look at the FICO auto score, the FICO mortgage score, or if you want to get a credit card, the bank card score. So we want to get a fresh credit report because when we first start off, pick your goal, whatever it is. Of course, you want to improve your credit score, but you want to do it for some specific reason, probably. You want to get a house, want to get a car. Pick your goal, and then you want to ignore the scores when you first start out. And I say print out a fresh credit report and take a highlighter with two different colors. One color for the accounts that are on your credit report by way of you. It was a late payment on your end, a collection, something you know that you're responsible for technically, and then things that are on your credit report by mistake. 73% of credit reports have mistakes on them. So with that said, there's a good chance that you and I fall within that 73%. So we want to get a detailed analysis, and after you've highlighted the credit report up, then you'll have a pretty colorful credit report. And the first thing that you're going to want to handle is the things that aren't yours. Send in a letter to the credit bureau, say, hey, these are not mine, do an investigation on them. And one thing you have to consider with the credit bureaus is everything they do is automatic. They have a software that's called the e-Oscar system. And what happens is when you send in a letter, they scan it in and it attaches a certain code to it. So the most popular code being 001, which stands for not mine. So when you send it in, they send that code to your original creditor or whoever's furnishing the data or who's putting it on your credit report. They send it in, they send in the code, and then they present whatever evidence that they have. But if the account truly isn't yours, get it removed from your credit report. If that doesn't work, you can go to the police to get a police report and get it removed almost automatically. Those are for things that aren't yours.
Wow.
Now, after we get some things that aren't yours removed from your credit report, we got to work on the things that are yours. The first thing that you have to do before you do any disputing is you want to remove any old addresses from your credit report. So let's say you've moved 3 times in the past 4 or 5 years, and the collection that you have or the negative items that you have on your credit report are from when you lived at a different address. Like I said earlier, it's key to realize how the credit bureaus work, because that will help formulate a strategy in order to contact them. So with that said, you want to send in a letter to have the old addresses removed to the credit bureaus. Now, sometimes they don't respond to these letters, and here's what you'll do after. If they don't respond to the letter, and it'll say something like this: hey, I'm not affiliated with these addresses, please remove them from my credit report, investigate these, and send the result to the address listed above. After you send that in, they're either going to respond and remove it or not respond. In the case that they don't respond, you can go to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau and you can file a complaint and have them removed from your credit report. You don't want to skip this step, because oftentimes the collection agencies, your original creditors, after they send in that code that they get from the credit bureaus based on what your dispute says, then they're just going to match up your name and address with the account, and then boom, it's going to be verified. So you don't want to skip this step. After you get that done, then you want to send in a letter to the collection agency or the original creditor and the credit bureau after the result of removing the old addresses is finished. You want to send that in, and you want to request a formal investigation of the negative items on your credit report. Don't claim that they're not yours. Don't even ask for removal. Just ask for an investigation, and some of the things will fall off your credit report. But then they're going to send you more information. They're going to send you more information, each of the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, whether they delete them or they don't. They're going to send you the result of their investigation. And you can take each 3 of the letters from the 3 credit bureaus, and you can kind of match them up with the accounts that you disputed and see if everything is reporting accurately. And then you can follow up from there. There's usually going to be some inaccuracies on them. Like, for instance, if you disputed a collection account with 3 credit bureaus, the date open on the account will usually be different across the board. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. The amount owed, the date last active. So albeit some inconsistencies, you can point these out, send in another letter, and then have some more removals from there.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great way to get started. And I mean, if people didn't want to do this themselves, can they reach out to you personally to kind of help them out? Or is that you just kind of give the advice for them to do it personally?
So the main thing actually is doing it. We mostly do it for people. So all the things that you see me post, my testimonials, people buying cars, buying houses. I do the 700 Club interview. Everybody who's willing to hop on a Zoom call to who hit 700, I interview them, ask them how their experience was with me. So the main thing we do is actually do it for people, because it's a lot of work. Like, yeah. I've been studying this for a very long time and understanding how the credit bureaus work. Like, one of the things that I just found out recently, and I'm putting out a new book, and I've been doing more research on the credit bureaus because I've been wanting to find out more about how it works. This is such fresh information to me, but the credit bureaus, I forgot which one. I think it was Experian, but one of them, they aren't even they aren't American companies.
Oh, wow.
I think they're owned by British holding companies. So a lot of times I tell people they're afraid to send in letters. They think these credit bureaus are like these big, bad government agencies. And in reality, they're publicly traded companies, just like anything else, just like the computers that we're on, the apartments that we live in, whoever owns those companies, these are publicly traded companies. And their only goal is to sell your information to the creditors in order to make money and make profit. They really couldn't care less if you and I had a negative item on our credit report or not. The main thing that they're looking to do is get the information on how you spend your money, your purchases, your income. Like, for instance, a lot of people don't know that your zip code has an average credit score.
Hmm.
Your zip code has an average credit score, and when you receive those pre-approval offers in the mail, they're not pre-approval offers. They've taken the average credit score in the zip code via pre-screening, and they send out an offer to everybody in the area, usually because there's a good chance if you live in a zip code with an average 6 or a 760 credit score that you have a 760 credit score as well, or somewhere in that range.
Oh, wow, that's hilarious. I get those in the mail all the time.
Yeah.
What's one thing that your clients like about your company? Like, why do people go to you specifically to fix their credit?
I think that one, of course, the results, but a lot of the times, a lot of credit people, I try to dumb it down as much as I can. Like I research these topics and I put them into my books. People are like, I've read so many credit books, but it finally clicked when I read yours. I think I make things simple and a lot easier to understand just by breaking it down to its most simplest form. So people have an understanding, because with credit, people feel out of control and feel like they don't have any real power in the situation because they just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So if I can educate you while improving your credit score, I think the education is huge, because in the credit industry, there is a lot of repeat business, unfortunately. For me, I haven't had any repeat clients at all. Like somebody whose credit that I fixed, and then they were like, man, I messed it up again. Can we fix it again? I
Yeah.
haven't had any repeat business, luckily. And I think the reason for that is, I think the statistic is like 68% of people who repaired their credit will need to repair it again within the next 12 months, just because they don't have a solid baseline. In my instance, you get our client success guide, you get the credit mastery course, you get all of my ebooks 100% as a free bonus. So what I charge for is helping you improve the credit score. But you can hop on the phone with me at least once a month, usually no more than twice a month, or it'll be like an assistant or something like that, or just email a question in. But I do a lot of coaching, and I'm very resourceful with all of my clients. Like we're in the group together, the distinguished agent,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I get my clients, like when I get somebody ready, I drop, hey, I need so and so in this area to help me out. I've gotten people mostly in Texas and probably on like more of the south side, a few people out here in Vegas as well. But when I drop that, it's an extra bonus. It's like full service, like I said in the beginning. Like I can
Yeah.
take you from where you are right now to the exact goal that you want to achieve, whether that be a house, a car, or funding a business.
Exactly. And if someone is looking specifically to fix their credit for a house, I know you kind of already went over in detail, but is there anything else that you can add to that?
Yes, I call it my 3C method. You should always go before I ever drop anybody's information or I request an agent in a certain area, I go through with my clients their budget, their credit score, and what their mortgage score likely is based on their history with the mortgage or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell my clients, the loan officer and the realtor should only confirm what you already know about your finances. There should be no surprises. A lot of times people go into the loan office or speak to a realtor without having any idea of where they stand financially with their credit, with their debt to income ratio, all that stuff. So you want to be aware of the 3C method: the credit, and being able to have a good credit score to get approved; the capacity, your ability to service the loan, what is your debt to income ratio, and then collateral. And that comes in with the agent, and that's getting them the right price for the home so they're not overpaying and their house doesn't appraise for less than it's being sold for.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great. What about people with like no credit who are looking to buy a house? Can you help those type of people?
Yes. So recently I did just start a new company that is for that specifically, people who have no credit. It's called RealTime Trade Lines. And what we do is, let's say, for instance, I have a $10,000 credit card and I only spend $100 a month on a card. I take your information, I add you as an authorized user to the card, and then the history is copy and pasted onto your credit report. This is something that people have been doing for years. But one thing that I noticed is that it's kind of slowing down, and how many points you get, what impact it has on your score. So what we do now is we also, after we add you to the line of credit, we'll put together a list of credit cards that you can get in your name, and we call this method blending. So for every one authorized user, you want to make sure you have two primary accounts. Now, a lot of times people don't know which accounts to apply for, so they end up wasting inquiries. So what I do for my clients is I use this website called uscreditcardguide.com. And I can go in and I can find out what the average credit score for somebody who gets approved for a certain credit card is. So I'll put together a list of credit cards that you can get approved for. Not a list of credit cards, oh, I want this card, I want this card. You can always go back. Let's say I get a entry-level Citi card. After a year of paying on it, I can call Citi up and say, hey, I would like to do a product upgrade. Will there be a credit check for it? Usually there'll be a credit check. Your credit should be in better standing, especially if you paid on the loan on time, or not on the loan, on the credit card on time and kept the balance low. You should qualify for it. So starting off with those starter credit cards and getting that head start is a great way to establish your credit. Like my sister, we had her as an authorized user on me and my mother's card since, or not me, since she was 14, because she's I'm not as she's a little bit younger, but she's been on my mom since she was 14. Mine since 16 or 17.
Okay.
But we added her on a couple of lines of credit. And by the time she was 18, she had a 730. She just turned 18 in April.
Dang.
So she got approved for an American Express line of credit for $6,000 and a Navy Federal line of credit for another $6,000. That's $12,000 in available credit by the age of 18. That's more than I had, and that's more than the average adult has. So if you get a grasp on how to play the game and what the rules really are, you can really start to create the opportunities that you sought before. Instead of looking for them, you can start creating them by leveraging your credit, having somebody be added as an authorized user. And when you start getting more available credit, when you guys want to start a business, you want to do this, you want to do that, all of this stuff is accessible just by understanding how to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's incredible. Now, how about for people who are going through bankruptcy? How long do they have to wait till they can purchase again a house for that?
It really depends on the lender and what they're willing to work with. Usually, and bankruptcy is just like anything else on the credit report. It can be removed from the credit report just like anything. Now, it is public record, so they'll be able to pull it up that you filed for bankruptcy at this point in time. So you want to make sure the lender that you're working with is aware of it, or they're working with you closely, even if it's off of your credit report. But it really depends on the kind of bankruptcy you filed as well, whether you're making payments or not. That'll count towards your debt to income ratio. But usually you'll have to wait about 2-3 years before you can really start to do something, even if it's removed from your credit report. As far as a house, anything else you'll be able to get, just because it is public record and they can just pull that stuff up.
Okay, definitely. And any tips that you would tell your clients to just make this whole experience better for them or easier?
If you use your credit cards a lot, and this has been a controversial statement. I posted something on I've been posting some of my videos on like those larger pages, and people have been getting in arguments about this. And every time I post this, people get upset. But if you use your credit cards a lot and you max it out, don't pay your credit card on the payment date. Pay your credit card on the statement date. The statement date is the day that the credit card companies report your information to the credit bureaus. So they send it in. So let's say, for instance, your payment date is on the 26th, but your statement date is on the 28th. You can call your credit card company and have them move your statement date to the 24th. That means they're going to report the information on the 24th, but your date due is the 26th. The 26th is when you have to pay it. Okay. If you pay it on the 24th or before then, you'll be able to max out the credit card each month and still have it not be reported as a maxed out credit card, because once you have a maxed out credit card, you're going to lose about 20 to 50 points depending on how many cards are maxed out. So
Yeah.
if you pay it, if you use it and you pay it before they report the information, you'll be able to use it consistently and not have to worry about it lowering your score when you do max it out. A lot of people disagree with that, but in my eyes, what is it that you're disagreeing with? All I'm saying is have your statement date move earlier and pay your credit card early.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've always heard that too. And I've even seen with experience that paying it on the statement date is better because I've used that tip before too.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
what's one piece of advice that you feel no one knows about on with credit?
I feel no one knows about when it comes to credit. I feel like I got a few things, but I don't want to go on a tangent. I don't want to go on a 30-minute lecture. One thing that I think people don't realize is all this stuff is computer generated with your credit reports. So whenever you send in a letter, it's not like they're doing a manual review. Most people don't even know that they have a system that adds a code to each type of dispute and they just send it in. So with that said, anytime you're dealing with a computer, there's going to be loopholes and there are going to be ways to get around it. So one of the things that we've tried in the past and that has worked is writing a letter in pink ink and sending it in. When they scan in the letter, sometimes it has a hard time reading the pink ink. So we'll do that, or we'll do like a green or an orange, like a bright color.
Wow.
So that might help your disputes. I don't have any definitive proof. I just know sometimes when we've done it, we've got accounts removed, but I haven't done it enough to say for a sure fact. But I know that it has a tougher time reading the letters for sure when you do it handwritten in a colorful ink.
That's incredible. That's something I never heard of before either.
We've
Now,
only done it a few times, but in those times it has worked for sure.
yeah, it makes sense, definitely, because of computers scanning it. Now, I wanted to talk about Credit Karma, and all those other sites. You know, how reliable are those sites?
Credit Karma is great to get a snapshot or an idea of where your credit score is at. It only shows two of your credit scores though. I think TransUnion and Equifax.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
only shows two of them. So just from that, you're at a disadvantage because let's say you check Credit Karma, and as you know, when you go apply for a home, they throw out the highest, throw out the lowest, and take the middle score.
Yep.
So you don't even know what your middle score is on Credit Karma. We have no idea. So it's great to get an idea, but understanding someone's business model is extremely important because Credit Karma, they don't make money showing you your best credit reports or helping you improve your credit score. They make money by selling your information to the credit card companies via pre-approvals that you see right in your Credit Karma app, outstanding chances for approval and stuff like that. So since credit monitoring isn't even really their thing, I would not go to them for credit monitoring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've read all your books. I highly recommend them to all of you guys watching. Where can someone go to purchase your books?
You can go to thecreditreset.com or go on Amazon, which is a great way to get it really fast. Is go on Amazon and then type in the Credit Reset. And I have another book coming out soon, Crushing the Collectors. And this is going to be a detailed dive on how collection agencies work. So if you want to go or you want to get on the wait list for that, go to www.crushingthecollectors.com/waitlist.
Perfect. Awesome. I'll have to do that after this. Now, how can someone contact you for more information?
Yes, you can contact me on Instagram, Your Credit Guy Vernell, or you can go to my website, fortune800.com, book 100% free credit analysis. What we do on the call is, since we get paid from the credit monitoring when you sign up for a free trial, you don't get charged for it, but we get paid a commission for it. Since we do that, we offer the free credit analysis. So it's free for you. We pretty much charge the credit monitoring company. You cancel it right after the call. I'm able to give you a detailed analysis on what's going on with your credit score and give you a plan of action, let you know what we would do in the situation. And if you want to move forward, we can. If not, you have that resource for a lifetime, the free credit analysis, which comes in a PDF.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, thank you, Vernell. You shared a lot of information for me and us, and I'm very excited for people to hear this.
Yes,
Thank you so much for
absolutely.
coming
Thank you,
on.
Chyla. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good one, Vernell.
All right, you too. Peace.